Hello and welcome to Policycast. Here we bring you insights on the latest developments in taxation, finance, and regulatory policies. Each episode breaks down new announcements and reforms and explores what they mean for businesses, individuals, and the economy. From tax and regulatory updates to global trade shifts, our experts share clear perspectives to help you stay ahead. Let's dive into today's discussion. Joining us today for our second episode on Policycast, we have Manoj Mishra to discuss the recent US decisions to impose steep tariffs on Indian exports. Earlier this year, President Trump announced reciprocal tariffs of 26% on India, initially paused until July 31st, 2025, to allow time for bilateral trade negotiations. With no breakthrough achieved, the US imposed a 25% tariff effective from August 1st, followed by an additional 25% levy on August 27th, linked to India's Russian oil purchases. In this episode, Manoj will share insights on the implications for Indian businesses, the wider economy, and the future direction of trade policy. Welcome, Manoj.
Hi Mandeep.
Hi. So, to trigger off the conversation, our very first question to you, Manoj, is what does the 50% US tariff really mean for Indian exporters? And which sectors or products are likely to be hit the hardest?
Mandeep, when we talk about 50% tariff, first of all,
Hmm?
irrespective of sectors, it will hurt the sentiments of Indian market per se. If we talk to be specific, 50% tariff means that landed cost of Indian goods in the US will go up, making them significantly less competitive compared
Hmm.
to domestic US products or imports from the countries which have got lesser tariffs.
Hmm.
For Indian exporter, it is not just about the prices. It is about losing customers in perception. Not just losing customers, it is about losing market, established market which we would have built in years. Understand? So it is not just like we could not export. It is losing a market where we were significant player. So this is going to impact hard. That is one. Second, the sectors which I can think of, maybe the textiles, gems and jewelry, leather goods, processed foods. These are certain items which may have major implications because these are this can be easily replaced by somebody else. So not
Exactly.
very specific to India. It can be like anybody can supply those goods and can easily be replaced by any country, and these are price sensitive.
This makes a lot of sense, and I think this brings us to our second question. What could this mean for India's overall economy and employment in export driven sectors, Manoj?
So, Manpreet, in the short run, first thing would be that piled up inventories because there would be order cancellations,
Hmm.
reduced productions. So, one that will have piled up inventory and idle manpower. Okay, so it
Hmm.
will be affecting working capital requirement of that particular exporters. Okay, so because these like industry are mostly labor sensitive, like apparel, leather, gems, well, are labor sensitive where we have acute lot of working force which would be there, and in case we lose export orders, they would be sitting idle. So it may result into loss of significant jobs, particularly in MSMEs where companies are not big, means are not that much, so that they can afford to feed them for years without any work. So these sectors are going to be impacted. MSME is something who are going to feel the first burden
Hmm.
out of this problem. On a micro level, if US bound export drop sharply, our overall trade deficit will go up, means that the value of rupee will come down and dollar will go up. So,
Hmm.
and since entire international trade is in dollars, so it may impact our import bill significantly.
Hmm. So, what do you think? How is the Indian government responding to support exporters hit by these tariffs? And at the same time, are there any alternative markets Indian businesses can turn to in order to reduce reliance on the US?
So, Mandip, you have two questions. One, that how
Yes.
Indian government is taking care of that, and then diversification.
Yes. If there is any other markets that we can turn into. Yeah.
Yeah. So as I mentioned earlier, that the first implication would be piling up inventories and working capital requirements. So the government may turn up saying that, okay, I'll take care of your extra interest burden, so they can start giving interest subvention to the companies who where export orders got cancelled. And I don't think that it may have any WTO implication, because there is no export per se. So there would not be any WTO implication. So they can start giving export subvention. They can go give them other export related benefits. Okay, so so that the immediate requirement or immediate problem of piling up working capital and piling up interest cost should go down and should be taken care of, taken care of. That is first thing they can do, and definitely they can come out with various schemes through Invest India, where they can help them finding alternative market. And in fact, they are doing that. They are doing that. Government has put in a lot of budget for finding, exploring a market. They have an ambitious project to like get their exports expand to new areas. They have entered into various FTAs like UK CETA, and they are planning to, so EFTA, TEPA. Then, apart from that, we already have trade agreements with the UAE, Australia, ASEAN countries. So these are certain markets which could be an alternative to exports which we were making to
You.
US. Okay, and apart from that, I think
Hmm.
there would be a new market that from the countries where tariff is significantly low.
Hmm.
Those countries may start ordering or taking things from India, and they would be doing value addition in their particular country before exporting it to US. So there would be some divergent something will take place in case in the supply chain. And we will see that in another 6 months or 7 months, things will settle both at supply chain level, as well as the exporters will be able to cope up with the situation.
Yeah. This puts a lot of things in perspectives. This brings me to another question. Like, has India set any red lines, in trade negotiations, and why are they important for national interest?
See, in India, we are still e- an economy driven by agriculture. So
Yes.
50% of GDP, if I'm not wrong, is still coming from the agriculture, which is not in organized sector, which is in unorganized sector, small farmers, and we have to protect them at any cost. And even for the government, be it economically or be it politically, they cannot afford to put those farmers or the frontline warriors in danger. Okay, so that is our red line. We cannot allow not allow any country to dump their agriculture produce in India at the cost of our own farmers, be it dairy products, be it GM, or be it other agriculture related products. So that is something a red line,
Yes.
economically as well as politically, which India will never cross.
Yes, and that serves as national interest, which makes a lot of sense. And just to sum this whole conversation up, Manoj, my last question would be, how can Indian businesses prepare themselves to handle such sudden trade policy changes in the future?
So I think we'll have to go back to basis that don't put all the eggs in one basket. We'll have to
Yes.
have diverse market. One thing we'll have to understand that the world need us because we
Yes.
are 140 crore people, okay, and largest middle class economy or middle class people residing in our country. So a huge market for the world. So they cannot ignore us. So that is one. They cannot. So we have, as Modi ji said, that we have enough where enough to cater to the Indian market. So even if we are not doing much of export, if we are able to produce goods and cater to our domestic market, it will take care of most of our economic worries. Second, maybe I may sound political, but Swadeshi is the Mool mantra. If we get into something which is produced in India, then again it will save a lot of foreign currency and our dependence on exports. Third, of course, since it is a global economy, we should look at the markets which are other than US, third world countries or GCC countries or European countries where we have friendly market and maybe perhaps a huge demand for our products. So we have to move from US, or in even in future we should not be heavily dependent on any one particular country, and our export portfolio should be diversified.
And that's all for the second episode of Policycast. We'll continue to track developments in global trade and their implications for India. Thank you so much for tuning in today, and we look forward to having you join us in the next episode. Thank you.